Hello guys, welcome back. Today we start about set timeout and set interval. This is are the property asynchronous. This is the functionality of browser, not a JavaScript. When we write a program and when the JavaScript find the set timeout or set interval, it just go send them to web browser and say that after that time give me, and after that inside time of the set time or interval, that web API send that function to callback, and callback queue is waiting until event loop is say yes, callback is empty. Afterward the whole program is executed, then and then only the callback queue functions are goes to callback, call stack, call stack, yeah, like of that. Yeah, this is a set timeout, and whenever we pass set timeout, it's written one ID. If you want to destroy set timeout before function, then we can destroy it with clear set timeout, like that. Clear timeout, not a set timeout. But what set timeout and what this is set intervals are the asynchronous properties is provided by browser. This is important thing I have to remember. And every set time and intervals are after the execution. And why? Whenever found set timeout and interval, browser JavaScript engine sent to browser API, and API sent to callback, and event loop fade until the JavaScript program is not executed. All afterward the all callback queue functions are arrive in callback, and then the program happens. That's why the all set time set intervals are after the program. If there is a 0 second, also that's happen, because they are waiting for program to finish. Do you get my point? My PC are going to hang, and I can't get any type of something like that. If this shit is happening. Now, what I'm talking about, yeah, we clear a window, set timeout and set interval. Now we have to do something like that. Which one is compiler? JavaScript is a interpretation language. Interpreter language, which means execute code one by one. Or before interpretation, the first thing JavaScript engine does is compilation, which means parsing. What it does, take all codes and block in, cut in some cut in small parts. Yeah, afterward it declare closures, set closures, scope sense, and that type of thing in compilation method. And hosting, these three methods in compilation. I am very smart. Afterward, async, defer, and common. What is in common script? First of all, the JavaScript engine, what is parsing start from top and parsing HTML. Afterward, if Afterward, we find JavaScript. So then try to fetch JavaScript. That time the HTML parsing is stopped. At that time HTML parsing will be stopped. Afterward, when the completing the fetching, you just execute JavaScript. You get it? Just execute JavaScript. And after that start again HTML, parsing HTML. You get it? Afterward the async. What the async does? Start parsing HTML and start fetching JavaScript. And when the fetching completed to JavaScript run that program, run that JS file, and that time HTML parsing will be stopped. And after the run JS, async will again start. And now comes differ. What am I doing here? Now come differ. It's also just same as async, but we start fetching JS and parsing HTML with synchronously. But after the parsing was done of HTML, after that it start run JavaScript. That's the difference between async and differ. Do you get my point? Afterward, closures are there. Whenever we declare function in JavaScript, it's create a closure. What is closure? When the function is declared, it take a reference of that scope. What? It take reference of that scope and keep it that reference out of this scope, keeping that secret volume, keeping that reference out of the scope. I think that's it. 59. Let me look at this. A closure in JavaScript is like a keeping reference of the scope at the point of function declaration. When the function is declared, take the reference of that scope and keep it out of the scope, and so on. When the function is declared, JavaScript. When the function is declared, function take a reference of the scope and keeping it out of the scope, and so on till the global chain. Really? Till the global object. That's nice. When the function is declared, it take a reference of the scope and keeping it out of the scope, and so on till the object memory. What is it? Object scope and the window scope. It's a window scope, which is the top of this scope chain. window. That's all. You get it? When the function is declared, it take reference of the scope and take keeping it out of that scope and so on till the global object which is the top of this option. And now the question is about option. What is a option? Whenever the variable is used, JavaScript engine start finding that variable value in that scope. JavaScript engine start finding value in that scope. If isn't, it will go to outer scope, and that process will run then when the global object is arrived or when the object value is found. And do you get my point? Again, revise closures in scopes. Whenever we use variable in function, JavaScript engine find that variable value in that scope. If it isn't, it will go for a parent scope and so on till it find the variable or reach to top chain of scope chain, top of this scope chain, which is global object. That's all. And what is closure? Closure is to take a reference of that scope until out on the global scope. Scopes are a bit same, but it take a reference and that will go for a pop-up. Function execution but there is scope memory and code execution. Hosting. When the parsing will begin, when the JavaScript engine start parsing, compiling, it what does take all the declaration to the top, which means helps to find function declaration or like that variable and give all the variable to undefined, not a let and const, because that are uninitialized. Global memory and code execution. JavaScript, what is the syntax error, and find syntax error and that type of thing while parsing. Primitive and reference data type. Primitive are 1, 2, 3, 4 and reference is like of that array, because that value are saved in heap memory. That's why wallpapers are kind of. Now afterward that we have to go for JavaScript static method property, which only used by class. Getting in setup for use class as property. What the method is property? Prototype is a mechanism. Prototype is a mechanism to inherit object future. Prototype is a mechanism to inherit object feature to one another. That is prototype. I am very genius. Now there is a three important methods which are used for one method to another function or like that, which is call, apply and bind. Apply and bind. Bind return function, call and apply are same but parameters are optional chaining for checking. That's come map. Why you use map? Before function are not take numbers, symbols or like that, an object or array. This will assign array to value. Set will give a unique value only. Iterable and array-like object. Iterables are set and maps an array. An array-like object are that. String and what is the name? Argument object. Rest parameters and argument objects are same, but one is array and one is array-like object. Splice method. You have to give starting position how many elements one you delete. If you don't, so you want to insert and then insert. Fill, delete and insert. You have to give what element do you want to fill, starting position and ending position. Sum, every, find, give object, filter, give array. Love you guys. Have a good day. Have a very bad day to me.